The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of December 9, 2024 are here. Next week, fans can expect Chance Chancellor to get alarming results about Sharon Newman's medication. This information could have Sharon changing her plea. That would also solidify Nick Newman's support of Sharon, which could royally tick Phyllis Summers off. So keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up next week in the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman's test results. E&R spoilers for the week of December 9 reveal that Sharon's medication has been tested. Sharon might not have liked that Nick took her old medication out of the trash to have it tested. However, Nick can't shake the feeling that something isn't right despite Sharon's confession. When Chance reports back the test results, there could be another big twist for Sharon. Y&R spoilers, Jordan and Ian Ward's alliance. Fans know that while Sharon did dump Heather Stevens' body and frame Daniel Romalotti Jr., she didn't actually kill the lawyer. Jordan and Ian Ward are responsible as they are for running Phyllis off the road. However, nobody realizes this yet. The test results could indicate that Sharon's medication was tampered with. Sharon might have been taking an entirely different med than the one prescribed. In any case, Jordan and Ian will want to make another move soon. Will they end up making a mistake and getting busted? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Chance Chancellor's moral decision. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of December 9 reveal that the test results could put Chance in a tough spot. The test results could have Chance realizing that someone might have tampered with Sharon's medication on purpose. Even though Chance is the lead investigator and arresting officer, his career could be jeopardized by this moonlighting on Sharon's behalf. Plus, if Chance suddenly sides with Sharon, that could infuriate Phyllis as well as make his break from Summer Newman permanent. Y&R spoilers, week of December 9, 2024. Also, expect Jack Abbott to get backlash over his feud with Victor Newman. Nikki Newman interrogates Jack over his motives. Over with Kyle Abbott, he will get mixed signals from Summer. Just how badly will Claire Grace Newman get hurt? Could Jordan turn up just in time for Claire's heartbreak and take advantage of the opportunity? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of December 9, 2024? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Jolie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Saturday, December 7, 2024. The lines between love, betrayal, and ambition are never clear. The relationships between Summer, Kyle, and Claire take a drastic turn when Summer witnesses a shocking moment. Kyle proposes to Claire. This moment shatters everything Summer thought she understood about her relationship with Kyle, leaving her emotionally wrecked and lost. The situation spirals out of control, and each character is forced to face their own desires, mistakes, and the consequences of their actions. Summer's heartbreak. From hope to despair, Summer has always been a woman driven by passion, but her idealism has led her down a painful path. She had hoped that Kyle, her former lover, would return to her one day. After breaking up with Chance, Summer was waiting for the perfect moment when Kyle would realize they belonged together. But when she sees him on bended knee, proposing to Claire, her world collapses. Summer's heart is broken, but she isn't ready to let go. She thought she was making a noble sacrifice by giving up on Chance, believing Kyle would come back to her. She never expected to be faced with this reality, Kyle's commitment to Claire. Her emotions spiral into chaos as she tries to make sense of everything. The thought that her feelings were never reciprocated as strongly as she'd hoped stings deeply. But what cuts even deeper is Kyle's reaction to her heartbreak. In a moment of cold frustration, he tells her to leave his life for good. The man she once loved, The man she thought she could win back is now pushing her away. She feels humiliated, confused, and betrayed, not just by Kyle, but by herself for believing in a love that never truly existed. The feeling of being discarded hits Summer hard, but what she doesn't fully comprehend is how much Kyle is hurting too. Kyle's confusion, a choice between two worlds. Kyle has always been a man torn between loyalty and love. His history with Summer was one of passion, but their relationship was fraught with complications and miscommunications. He's moving on, or at least he thinks he has, by proposing to Claire, the woman he believes represents his future. A future that is peaceful, stable, and free of the turmoil he faced with Summer. But Kyle's proposal to Claire isn't just about love. It's about finding the stability he has always longed for. Summer's persistent presence in his life has become a constant reminder of the chaos and heartbreak they endured together. He knows that if he keeps holding on to Summer, he will never be able to truly build a life with Claire. That realization forces his hand. However, his harsh words to Summer are not just the product of a cold, calculated decision. They reflect his own internal turmoil. Kyle pushed her away because he's afraid of being dragged back into a relationship that once hurt him deeply, but the guilt weighs heavily on him. He didn't want to hurt Summer, but he's now forced to confront the harsh reality that love, while powerful, doesn't always work out the way we hope. Claire's struggle, a life worth fighting for. For Claire, life has taken an unexpected turn. She's finally found the peace and happiness she's always dreamed of. Far from the chaos of her past, life with Kyle feels secure and full of love. But her history with Jordan casts a long shadow over her newfound happiness. Jordan's obsession with controlling Claire's life has never fully disappeared. Claire visits Jordan in prison, hoping to finally put her past behind her. But what she discovers is shocking. Jordan has plans for her, plans beyond anything Claire could have imagined. When Claire sees Jordan, she feels both wary and curious. Against her better judgment, she listens as Jordan hints at her desire to bring Claire back into a life of secrecy, lies, and danger. Jordan's intentions are clear. She wants Claire back under her control, returning to the manipulative world they once shared. But Claire is no longer the same person. She's grown, matured, and now has a life she cherishes. She isn't the young woman who could be easily swayed by Jordan's power and influence. Claire understands that Jordan's life is filled with manipulation and darkness. But Claire is determined to protect the life she's built with Kyle. A dangerous negotiation, Claire and Jordan's deal. Claire knows Jordan won't give up easily. Jordan is dangerous and manipulative, and her return poses a real threat. After some deliberation, Claire makes a bold decision. She will meet with Jordan alone. This meeting isn't just about confronting the past, it's about negotiating her future. Claire needs to understand Jordan's motives and prevent her from destroying the life she's worked so hard to build. The meeting is tense. Jordan, ever the manipulator, tries to convince Claire they can return to the way things were. She offers power, influence, and secrets. But Claire stands firm. "I'm not the person I used to be," Claire says, her voice resolute. "I have a life now, Jordan. I have a future with Kyle, and I'm not going to let you destroy that." Jordan's eyes narrow, a sinister smile creeping across her face. "You think you're in control, but you're not. You'll see. Eventually, you'll come back to me." Claire leaves the meeting, her mind racing. She knows Jordan isn't finished. The threat of her return is real, but Claire isn't afraid. She's learned the hard way to protect her happiness, no matter the cost. Summer's realization, letting go of the past. As for Summer, her emotional journey is far from over. She's devastated by Kyle's rejection, but she knows she has to let go. Summer has always been a fighter, but now she understands that some battles aren't worth fighting. Her relationship with Kyle is over. As painful as it is, she needs to move forward. Summer doesn't know what the future holds, but she's starting to realize it's time to focus on herself. She needs to heal, find new paths, and set new goals. Maybe, in time, she'll find the love she truly deserves. But for now, she must let go of the past and embrace the possibilities ahead. This storyline captures the emotional complexity of the characters as they navigate love, betrayal, and personal growth. Would you like to expand or adjust any details? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, December 6th reveal that Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott will move forward with their plan to get in Victor Newman's face and gloat over their recent successes. Jack and Diane managed to get Kyle Abbott out of Victor's clutches, which led to him returning to Jabot and agreeing to make peace. On top of all that, Jack snatched up the cheap Glissade divisions without Victor's knowledge, and now he's giving Glissade to Diane so she can run it as her new project. Diane and Jack are tickled pink over how things turned out, so they'll take great pleasure in highlighting all their good news. However, Victor will play mind games and use some intimidation tactics, especially when it comes to Diane. Perhaps Victor will doubt that Diane has truly repaired the damage with Kyle. Victor might argue that deep down, Kyle is always going to resent Diane for abandoning him and faking her demise when he was a child. As for Glissade, Victor might act like he knew what Jack was doing all along, or that he's just glad to be rid of a worthless company. Whatever the case, Victor won't want Jack and Diane thinking they've gotten under his skin in any way. In other words, Diane and Jack's plan to push Victor's buttons will get derailed. Victor will spin things around and try to make Diane doubt herself instead, so he may make a prediction about her blowing it with Kyle and tanking Glissade too. At some point on Friday's and our episode, Nikki Newman will get involved in the latest round of drama, so that'll lead to Jack's motives being questioned. Although Nikki would prefer a truce between Jack and Victor, she may fear Jack's moves are only going to keep their feud in play. Over with Summer Newman, she'll send some confusing signals. Kyle won't know for sure what Summer's true thoughts are based on her baffling behavior. Maybe Kyle will be puzzled over whether Summer's jealous or not now that he's strengthening his connection to Claire Newman. Summer seemed uncomfortable before, but she might carry out an unbothered charade next time around. Perhaps Summer could even act supportive when it comes to the idea of Kyle and Claire dating. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle will struggle to make sense of Summer's actions, so we'll bring you updates on his efforts to figure it all out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, December 6th reveal that Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott will move forward with their plan to get in Victor Newman's face and gloat over their recent successes. Jack and Diane managed to get Kyle Abbott out of Victor's clutches, which led to him returning to Jabot and agreeing to make peace. On top of all that, Jack snatched up the cheap Glissade divisions without Victor's knowledge, and now he's giving Glissade to Diane so she can run it as her new project. Diane and Jack are tickled pink over how things turned out, so they'll take great pleasure in highlighting all their good news. However, Victor will play mind games and use some intimidation tactics, especially when it comes to Diane. Perhaps Victor will doubt that Diane has truly repaired the damage with Kyle. Victor might argue that deep down, Kyle is always going to resent Diane for abandoning him and faking her demise when he was a child. As for Glissade, Victor might act like he knew what Jack was doing all along, or that he's just glad to be rid of a worthless company. Whatever the case, Victor won't want Jack and Diane thinking they've gotten under his skin in any way. In other words, Diane and Jack's plan to push Victor's buttons will get derailed. Victor will spin things around and try to make Diane doubt herself instead, so he may make a prediction about her blowing it with Kyle and tanking Glissade too. At some point on Friday's and our episode, Nikki Newman will get involved in the latest round of drama, so that'll lead to Jack's motives being questioned. Although Nikki would prefer a truce between Jack and Victor, she may fear Jack's moves are only going to keep their feud in play. Over with Summer Newman, she'll send some confusing signals. Kyle won't know for sure what Summer's true thoughts are based on her baffling behavior. Maybe Kyle will be puzzled over whether Summer's jealous or not now that he's strengthening his connection to Claire Newman. Summer seemed uncomfortable before, but she might carry out an unbothered charade next time around. Perhaps Summer could even act supportive when it comes to the idea of Kyle and Claire dating. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle will struggle to make sense of Summer's actions, so we'll bring you updates on his efforts to figure it all out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, December 5, 2024, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Christine Blair to agree to help Phyllis Summers. Coming up on The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman warns Adam Newman. Plus, Billy Abbott proves himself to Sally Spectra. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the Peacock soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman's crimes. My and our spoilers for Thursday, December 5 reveal that Phyllis is desperate to get justice for both Heather Stevens and Daniel Romalotti Jr. Phyllis is also allowing others to believe that Sharon Newman was the one who ran her off the road. Of course, Phyllis is angry that Sharon is seemingly getting away with her crimes. Phyllis wants Sharon punished. Back to Sharon, she just wants to get this over with. Sharon doesn't want to go to prison, but also confessed. Even though Sharon can't recall killing Heather, she is determined to just accept prison. For those fans confused by this, I think Sharon just wants all the confrontations, questions, and attacks to stop. Sharon might think if she goes to prison, then everything will be easier for her loved ones. There is something that Sharon and everyone else doesn't know, though. I and our spoilers, Christine Blair's alliance. Phyllis will end up getting help from an unexpected person. Despite the volatile history between the two women, Christine reluctantly agrees to help Phyllis. So Christine might try to ensure that Heather and Daniel get justice. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Adam Newman warned. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, December 5 reveal that Nick will issue a warning to Adam. Fans watched as Adam tried to offer support to Sharon, but she rejected it. Nick will tell Adam to stay far away from Sharon. While Adam's intentions are good, Nick will think his brother will just make things worse for Sharon. By and our spoilers, Thursday, December 5, 2024. On Thursday, December 5, fans can expect Billy to prove himself to Sally. So, I wonder what Billy does to prove himself. Sally has been hurt and betrayed a lot in the past. At the same time, Sally knows that relationships are complicated and things often are out of her control. So, will she be taking the next step romantically with Billy? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Thursday, December 5, 2024? What are your predictions for Phyllis, Sharon, Christine, and Daniel? What does the future hold for Billy, Sally, Adam, Nick, and the rest of the Genoa City residents? Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, December 5 indicate some major moments will go down in Genoa City. A character helps their rival while someone tries to prove themselves, and the wrong person tries to lend a hand. What kind of drama is set to unravel on Thursday? Time to dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Christine Blair helps Phyllis Summers. I and our spoilers for Thursday, December 5 note that Christine Blair will help Phyllis Summers, of all people. Considering these two have a tumultuous history, this is shocking, to say the least. However, Phyllis has been through a lot, and Cricket does have a heart of gold. Will the bug try and help Red with her animosity towards Sharon Newman, or will she offer legal advice? Fans will have to tune in to find out. I and our spoilers. Billy Abbott attempts to prove himself. Across town, Y and R spoilers for Thursday, December 5 suggests that Billy Abbott will try to prove himself to Sally Spectra. Sally is pretty smitten with Billy, so why does he feel the need to do this, and how far will he go to do so? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Adam Newman tries to lend a hand. Lastly, Y and R spoilers for Thursday's show reveal that Adam Newman will try and lend a hand to Sharon. His ex is in quite a mess, as she not only confessed to Heather Stevens' murder, but also to framing Daniel Romalotti and having a role in Phyllis' car crash. Adam seems to want to help, but added teasers note that Nick Newman will be on hand to advise the Newman black sheep to stay away. Sharon always seems to dive into her dark side when she and Adam get close, and that's the last thing she needs right now. What storyline are you most excited about seeing on Thursday? Comment below. The Young and the Restless spoilers recap for Thursday, December 5, reveals that Adam Newman will show up at Crimson Lights looking for Sharon Newman, but Esther Valentine will admit she's not there. Sally Spectra will arrive as tension bubbles up, so Adam will accuse both Sally and Billy of getting involved for revenge. Adam will also warn Sally that she'll never find happiness with Billy and will urge her not to fall for his lies since she's better than that. In the aftermath, Billy will once again assure Sally that what happened between them wasn't just something vengeful. At Newman Enterprises, Michael Baldwin will tell Nick Newman that he talked Chance Chancellor out of giving Nick the toxicology report first. Michael will want everything done above board to avoid accusations of Nick tainting Sharon's meds to get her off the hook. That's why Michael will plan on the upcoming lab results being delivered to him instead. When Adam walks in seeking updates on Sharon's case, Nick will insist there's no news they need to share with him. After Michael leaves, Adam will complain about being left out of the loop since he'll want to help Sharon and comfort her. Nick will think Adam is just falling into his usual pattern where his life implodes and he gravitates back to Sharon. Although Adam will defend his desire to give Sharon support, Nick will act like she's got more than enough people to lean on. Since Adam's interactions with Sharon always end badly in Nick's opinion, he'll want to protect her from their toxic relationship. Nick will insist this is about protecting Adam too, and will push him to just focus on Connor Newman and Newman Media. After Adam angrily asks why Nick always has to be Sharon's hero, Nick will wonder why Adam always has to be her curse. Sharon's case is too important to put in jeopardy, so Nick will warn Adam to stay away from her. At Society on Thursday's I and R episode, Christine Blair will come along as Phyllis Summers enjoys breakfast with Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Summer Newman. Once Christine mentions that she's heading back out on tour with Danny Romalotti, Phyllis will try to get under her skin by suggesting maybe Danny doesn't want her there anymore. After talk turns to Phyllis' accident, she'll flash back to the night of the crash and remember a truck speeding toward her. Phyllis will mention that truck during this conversation, so Christine will have questions about what it looks like and what Phyllis remembers. Since Sharon drives a silver SUV and the tire marks on the road were for a truck instead, Christine will consider the possibility that someone else caused the crash. Phyllis will hold firm in her stance that Sharon must be to blame and will ultimately walk out now that Christine's ruined her family breakfast. Later, Daniel will admit to Summer that he doesn't care whether Sharon's behind the crash or not. There's plenty of evidence to make Sharon pay for eliminating Heather Stevens, so Daniel will act like justice will be served no matter what. Back at the coffee house, Phyllis will spy a cozy moment between Billy and Sally. Once Sally leaves, Phyllis will beg Billy to tell her that he's not getting involved with that woman and will highlight Sally's abysmal track record with relationships. Phyllis will also hint about being future partners on Victor Newman's takedown scheme and will urge Billy not to incite Adam's wrath over Sally. As far as Phyllis is concerned, she won't think they should make things harder on themselves. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy and Phyllis will move forward with some sneaky plans eventually, so we'll pass along more predictions on their vengeful plans. We guess all that's old is new again, including a decades-long feud on the young and the restless. Granted, the show isn't quite bringing John Abbott back from the dead to tweak Victor's nose, but Jack sure is doing his best to make sure his late dad is a part of sticking it to the mustache. Confused? Well, on today's episode, Jack mused to Diane how Victor will take it when he finds out they played him and got back Glycade's assets at a steal. But Jack's not done there. No, sir, not at all. He wants to use Glycade to launch a retro fragrance line in homage to his dad, who founded Jabot all those years ago. And to top it all off, he wants Diane to run the line so they can both rub it in Victor's face. And honestly, we can't imagine John being upset with the idea. He and Victor were business competitors, but they certainly had their personal moments, like when the mustache's takeover of Jabot led to its founder having a heart attack. Then there were their off-again/on-again flings with Jill, the time John thought Victor might be Billy's dad. Yeah, using the company they swiped from under Victor's nose to pay homage to John seems like the perfect way to honor him without dragging the late Abbott patriarch's name down into the mud. That was always more Jack's speed anyway. John may have been Victor's business rival, but Jack was always and has always been the Newman founder's true nemesis. And now he can serve Victor his just desserts in his dad's name. Though like the Abbott/Newman and Jabot/Newman feuds, we have no doubt this is far from over, no matter how much Jack and Diane feel like celebrating. The Young and the Restless spoilers. In The Young and the Restless, the intricate web of deceit and danger continues to unfold, with Nick and Chance at the forefront of uncovering a major conspiracy. At the heart of their investigation is Sharon, who has been unfairly accused and manipulated by those willing to go to any lengths to cover their tracks. But Nick and Chance are not easily fooled. They have devised a brilliant strategy, a trap that will ultimately expose the truth and bring those responsible to justice. The test results? A deceptive facade. Sharon's drug test results have caused a storm in Genoa City, with the hospital reporting results that point to Sharon's guilt. However, Nick and Chance are not buying the official narrative. They know something is off about the test results. Working meticulously, the duo begins to uncover the truth. The test was a setup, a fabricated report designed to frame Sharon. That's when Alina, a trusted medical professional, steps into the picture. Alina has always been a reliable ally to both Nick and Chance. They trust her to provide the authentic test results, ensuring the truth reaches them while the fake results remain in circulation to further the conspiracy. This step is part of a larger plan to expose the forces behind the setup, primarily Jordan and Ian. The pharmacist's dilemma, a betrayal unfolds. The pharmacist, coerced into falsifying the test, finds himself in a precarious position. With the truth closing in on him, he faces a difficult choice: protect his own life or remain loyal to Jordan and Ian, the very people who used him as a pawn. As Nick and Chance intensify their investigation, the pharmacist realizes he must act quickly to save himself and his family. In a moment of desperation, he confesses the truth to Nick and Chance. "I did it under pressure," the pharmacist admits, his voice shaking. "They told me I had no choice. They said if I didn't do it, they'd kill me and my family." This revelation is crucial. It confirms that Jordan and Ian were behind the plot to frame Sharon, giving Nick and Chance the leverage they need to bring the conspirators down. A close call, Jordan and Ian's escape plan. Meanwhile, Jordan scrambles to cover her tracks, knowing the walls are closing in on her. She leaves her safe house, determined to go underground before Nick and Chance catch up with her. Ian, equally furious about the pharmacist's betrayal, remains calculating. "I told you this would happen," Ian snaps at Jordan. "You can't trust anyone. We have to move fast." Jordan, ever resourceful, nods in agreement. "I'll get out of here," she says, her voice calm but resolute. "Just make sure you cover your tracks. I'll lay low until the heat dies down." Despite her confidence, Jordan feels the weight of the danger closing in. If caught, she knows it could destroy not only her life, but also the lives of those around her. The chase. Nick and Chance close in. Nick and Chance are relentless in their pursuit. They work in perfect harmony, combining their skills to track down Ian and Jordan. The older and experienced Ian might outsmart most, but Nick and Chance are faster, more determined, and closing in. They know the stakes are high and can't afford to let Ian slip away. Every moment is critical as they push forward, determined to bring justice to Sharon and expose the conspiracy. The final confrontation, Ian's last stand. In a dramatic turn of events, Ian is finally cornered with no way out. Nick and Chance stand before him, ready to deliver justice. "You won't get away with this, Ian," Chance says, his voice cold and unyielding. "It's over." Ian's eyes flicker with a mixture of defiance and desperation. He looks for an escape, but finds none. "I'll never stop," Ian spits bitterly. "You think you've won, but you'll never stop me." Nick steps forward, triumphant. "It's over, Ian. The truth is coming out, and you're going down for what you've done." With that, Ian is arrested, and the case against him and Jordan begins to unravel. The aftermath. For Nick and Chance, this is a hard-earned victory. The conspiracy has been exposed, and Sharon's name will be cleared. However, the game isn't over. Jordan remains on the run, but Nick and Chance are determined to track her down and ensure she faces justice. The young and the restless spoilers reveal that Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott remain madly in love, but it certainly didn't look that way during their marriage destruction ruse. In an effort to get Kyle Abbott away from Victor Newman, Diane and Jack carried out a charade that had many GC residents believing they hated each other. Of course, Diane and Jack never wavered in their commitment to their future together, but that could change as a result of this scheme. Doubts could surface based on some of the harsh statements that were made during that whole ploy. In an interview with Sod, Peter Bergman talked about how far Jack had to take his deception and hinted that trouble could still be brewing. It put a big question mark in Diane's mind. Jack said some things that, wow, he just went a big step too far in letting the world know that he has big questions about Diane. And I think there's a price to pay for that, Bergman said. In fact, Peter Bergman is now wondering if Jack's insults and hurtful declarations could become part of an upcoming Y&R storyline. Although Bergman made a prediction that it might happen, he admitted that he asked the writers and TPTB not to tell him. Bergman wants to go along for the ride and see how it all plays out for Jack and Diane as they try to move forward. That said, Bergman does think it's an interesting little twist to have that ruse create deeper wounds than planned and require a fix-it. Although Jack has repeatedly assured Diane of his love and belief in her, that doesn't mean the road ahead will be a smooth one. Diane still has a lot of guilt and insecurities when it comes to her past mistakes, so she may be more haunted than Jack anticipated. The young and the restless spoilers say Jack and Diane's marriage may have more hurdles ahead, so we'll bring you updates on any stunning news and looming setbacks. It's where you want to be for Fantastic Young and the Restless Spoilers, predictions, news, and updates, so make us your favorite Y&R hotspot. The Young and the Restless Spoilers reveal that Jordan and Ian Ward could make the most of a golden opportunity. Lucy Romalotti is grieving the loss of Heather Stevens and dealing with a lot of anger, so her fury could be used to Ian and Jordan's advantage. Jordan certainly knows how to manipulate a young woman and drive her down a vengeful path. Y&R fans have seen proof of that, since that's exactly what Jordan did to Claire Newman when she drove her to extremes against the Newmans. As Jordan spies around town, she could realize Lucy is in a vulnerable place right now. When you pair Lucy's fragile state of mind with all her rage, she's pretty much the perfect person to groom for a payback plot. It's easy to imagine Jordan pretending to be lost in the park, or even just joining Lucy on a bench to say she looks glum. Jordan might strike up a friendship with Lucy and encourage her to get things off her chest. It wouldn't take long for Lucy to start ranting about Sharon Newman taking her mom away from her. Lucy might also vent about Faith Newman refusing to accept that Sharon is a monster. Perhaps Jordan could fuel Lucy's reign of terror and convince her that she has to make Sharon pay. Jordan might argue that Faith deserves to feel the same pain Lucy's in, and push Lucy to wipe Sharon off the map herself. Maybe Jordan could also supply Lucy with alcohol and use that to further impair her judgment. Jordan could set up a few friendly encounters with Lucy and work to drive her down a dangerous road. Ian would likely love the idea of Lucy going after vigilant justice and making Sharon pay the ultimate price. It would create a lot of suffering for Sharon and her family, so Ian would probably be all for it. Of course, Lucy wouldn't actually succeed in eliminating Sharon, but she might injure her or even Faith if she gets in the way. Regardless, Jordan is presumably the one who took Heather down permanently that night, so having her fuel Lucy's revenge on Sharon would be deliciously soapy. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jordan and Ian will lead to some other jaw-dropping news in Genoa City, so stick with us for more predictions on their next moves and updates on all the drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease as Jordan and Ian Ward quietly stir up chaos in Genoa City. Their actions go unnoticed. As they skillfully operate from the shadows, what mischief can they come up with next? The Young and the Restless spoilers, haven't they done enough? Fans might naturally jump to conclusions about a potential kidnapping or hostage scenario involving these two, given their notorious pasts. However, engaging in such activities could easily land Jordan and Ian back behind bars. It's much wiser for them to continue their current path, as remaining in the shadows allows them to plot a more satisfying revenge against those who have wronged them. Jordan, with her impressive array of disguises, has created countless opportunities to gather information on the Genoa City residents they despise, enabling them to strike when least expected. The elimination of Heather Stevens and framing Sharon Newman has already served as a significant act of revenge for several individuals that both Jordan and Ian loathe. My and our spoilers. Jordan runs into Claire and Kyle. During the week of December 2 to 6, Jordan is about to encounter Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott right outside of society. If she was unaware of her grandniece's budding romance with the charming Abbott heir, she'll soon be in the know. Claire and Kyle's relationship has progressed quite well lately, and both are eager to elevate their connection. However, various obstacles have kept them from taking that next step. This situation appears to be setting the stage for a more significant plot development ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Jordan keeps stealthily snooping. There's bound to be a whirlwind of excitement as Kyle and Claire approach their first time together. They might playfully tease each other about their strong desire to be together, only to find themselves thwarted at every turn. During their chat, they could realize that they're both yearning for something more meaningful than just a night of passion in Kyle's bedroom at his parents' place. After all, the Abbott mansion is bustling with Kyle's family, and Harrison Abbott is just a room away. What if Claire and Kyle decide to plan a romantic evening at the GCAC, setting a date to ensure nothing interferes with their plans and Jordan overhears? My and our spoilers. Jordan plants a hidden camera, streams the couple's first time online. Jordan could learn the details about Claire and Kyle's first night together and seize the chance for revenge against her niece. Jordan is clever, so it's easy to imagine her posing as a housekeeper, discovering the room where Claire and Kyle are staying, and setting up a small camera to record their night. Could she stream their intimate moments live or share it online? The show also hints that Summer Newman might get involved in the Claire and Kyle story, creating a love triangle. Could this online scandal bring Claire and Kyle closer together or drive them apart, possibly leading to a reunion with Style? The Young and the Restless spoilers note that Peter Bergman recently celebrated 35 years of playing Jack Abbott in Genoa City this past month. Believe it or not, Bergman was recast in the role in November 1989 after OG Jack Abbott, actor Terry Lester, left the show. Bergman recently spoke with Soap Opera Digest about entering the role of Jack Abbott and how he thought he wouldn't last more than a few months on the Y&R. Young and the Restless spoilers. Star Peter Bergman. Recasts just didn't work. Before jumping into the Jack Abbott role, Bergman played Dr. Cliff Warner on All My Children from 1979 to 1989. He was let go from the soap, and as such, lost a bit of confidence in the process. Plus, during his time on ABC, Bergman saw recasts come and go, so while he was grateful for his new job at the Y&R, he had his reservations. Talking to Sod, Bergman states, "We had on All My Children that just didn't work. There were not too many replacements who lasted long-term." He goes on to say, "And so I kind of felt that I was going to be one of those, that 6 months later, they were going to say, no, let's just kill the tract." Y&R spoilers. Star Peter Bergman. Hindsight is 20/20. His perspective on job security changed dramatically after he won his first Daytime Emmy in 1991, noting that when he won the award for playing Jack Abbott, he said, "Yep, this part is mine." In fact, he would move to add 2 more Daytime Emmys to that statue, and has accumulated a total of 24 Daytime Emmy nominations during his time on the Y&R. At this point, could anyone else play Jack? It would be like trying to recast Victor Newman or Nikki Newman. How much do you love Jack Abbott and Peter Bergman? Comment below. Catch the CBS Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit this CBL for the best Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and updates in daytime drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Ian Ward and Jordan Howard are far from finished torturing the people of Genoa City. The Newmans and Sharon Newman are both targets, and Faith Newman is the next likely target. Faith Newman is in a horrible position. The Young and the Restless spoilers point out that Faith is in a horrible position. Faith is the daughter of Nick Newman and Sharon. Kidnapping her would serve as a blow to both Sharon and the Newmans. This would certainly seem far, since Sharon has Mariah Copeland and Victor has Claire Newman. Ian was in a cult with Nikki Newman and Mariah at one time. Ian even forced Mariah to marry him, even though she was raised as his daughter. Ian also claimed to be Dylan McAvoy's father. Nikki is his mother, but Paul Williams is his father, not Ian. Y&R spoilers. Jordan Howard got caught the last time. Jordan decided to kidnap Harrison Abbott and Claire the last time. Jordan knows that Claire is crazy about that child and kidnapped him for revenge. However, Harrison was saved and Jordan was captured. Jordan is supposed to be in prison over this kidnapping now, but obviously she escaped. Ian could want Faith for another daughter. Ian lost Mariah, so why not take her sister? This would be getting even with Mariah and Nikki, considering he raised Mariah as his daughter for years. Faith would do just fine as a replacement for her. Perhaps Ian plans to marry Faith in the place of Mariah and continue with his cult activities. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Faith Newman is an easy target. Jordan has run herself crazy trying to make all of this fall into place with framing Sharon for Heather Stevens' murder. However, going after Faith would be so much easier because she would be at school and away from her family. Faith would have much less protection at school and traveling to school even. Faith could be fooled much easier than Sharon or even Phyllis Summers. Ian or Jordan Cold pretend to be Sharon and ask to meet up with her somewhere and get Faith while she's out alone. Pretending to be Faith in conversations with her family would not be that difficult either, especially as Sharon is in prison. How long will it take the Newmans to figure out the truth?